Good evening. Tonight on the Beaver News, the annual Salmon Bake is celebrating the groundbreaking of a new culture center. That story more coming up next. Welcome to the Wednesday night edition of the Beaver News. I'm Spencer Smallwood.
And I'm Andie Judson. Oregon State University's non-traditional student picnic will be taking place Monday, May 16th next week from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. The picnic will be hosted in the MU Quad and will include games, prizes, live entertainment, a resource fair, and food. In addition, a bounce house will be set up and kids' spirit activities will be available for children, so parents should feel free to bring their children along. The ASOSU Planning Committee for this event stated that the picnic is open to anyone, however it is geared toward providing a place for non-traditional students to come together, meet each other, and have fun. It is an enjoyable and easy way for non-traditional students, whom often have many other commitments outside of school, to get involved in campus. The event is free and open to the public, and of course, Benny the Beaver will be there.
Dr. Will Keim, inspirational speaker and writer, spoke to an audience of around 100 in Owen Hall on improving connections between Greek and LGBT communities in a presentation entitled Coming Out on Greek Row. Dr. Keim's speech was filled with humor, foul language, and a little political correctness. The Daily Barometer reports that it was an approach many agreed was the best choice for the evening. Josh Shako, co-director of the Rainbow Continuum, said, quote, "When you approach a serious subject like this, you need humor," end quote. Dr. Keim, who is currently the international chaplain for the Delta Upsilon fraternity, says the Greek and LGBT communities are the most connected than most people realize, with no fraternity or sorority being 100% heterosexual. The process of the building bridge between the communities would be a collaborative effort with work and responsibility on both sides. Though Dr. Keim focused his speech on the LGBT community, he said the lessons are relevant to all groups of people and that tolerance and respect should be practiced on a regular basis.
This upcoming Saturday, May 14th from 5 to 9 p.m., Vincent Bernard will be hosting a Haiti Benefit Festival at Oregon State's Gill Coliseum. Vincent Bernard is an ISA athlete and a former OSU running back. He is also a Haitian American and spent multiple weeks volunteering in Haiti and becoming dedicated to supporting an after-school program. Vincent purchased property and is in the process of rebuilding the school for these children. Fundraisers and donations from the festival will help bring the school and education to these children. Multiple sponsors have come together to create this event. Two of the assisting sponsors include Oregon State University's Kappa Kappa Gamma sorority and Sigma Phi Epsilon fraternity. The I Heart Haiti Festival will be a combination of Haitian culture, live music, local food vendors, a silent auction, and prizes. Admission will be accepted at the door, which includes a raffle ticket with an entry for a chance to win Beaver football tickets.
The 2,100 people who attended last night's game at Goss Stadium didn't expect anything too exciting to happen. Oregon State faced the University of Portland, a team that entered the contest 7 games below 500 and that the Beavers had beaten 11 consecutive times. The Daily Barometer reports that fans got their lopsided victory and a whole lot more. Junior Ryan Dunn went 4 for 4 and became only the second Beaver in the program history to hit for the cycle. After a relatively slow start, the Beavers led just 3-1 through 4 innings. And then the bats warmed up pretty fast. The Beavers finished the night with 14 hits and 3 home runs, their highest single-game home run mark this year. The 13 runs were the most they've scored since they beat Virginia Military Institute by the same score on March 12th. Ryan Dunn said, quote, "We didn't come out too sharp, but the bats came around."
The Daily Barometer reports that the OSU Native American Cultural Center has celebrated several events today, including a groundbreaking ceremony and the annual Salmon Bake, with a powwow scheduled for later this week. The groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of the new Native American Cultural Center began at 10:30 a.m. and the Salmon Bake began at noon and went until 3 p.m. The Native American Cultural Center has been a part of the OSU community for around 40 years and had plans for a new center approved earlier this year. Oliver Tapaha, a graduate teaching assistant who oversees the center, stated, "The center is a place for Native American students to feel at home and for everyone to come and learn about the Native American culture. We want a center that helps students feel comfortable and one that will reflect the new culture." The new center will be built next to the current Longhouse near a parking lot next to Moreland Hall and should be finished by 2012.
For more information, we now go to Chris Sept, who was on the scene during the salmon bake.
Hello, I'm Chris Sept reporting to you from the Oregon State Salmon Bake, brought to you by the Native American Longhouse on a glorious, glorious Oregon day where it's only slightly drizzling. As you can see, the salmon is baking behind me, and out in the festivities, people are getting their grub on. So I'm here with...
I'm Melissa. I'm Kelly.
Melissa and Kelly, and we're here in the line for the salmon bake. It extends for farther than I can see, but my eyes are bad. So this is your first salmon bake, is that right?
This is my first salmon bake. I've always had to work, so this is the first time I get to go, and I'm starving, so I'm really excited.
I hear it's really good stuff. And what is this your first salmon as well?
It's like my third. This is my favorite free meal on campus.
A veteran we got here. Very nice. You looking forward to this?
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Very much.
Fish is one of my foods, so cultural experience and a good food, so, you know.
Very, very good. Good stuff. What are your names?
I'm Juliana Oriana.
And I'm Keegan.
Keegan, very nice, very nice. You were both servers here at the salmon bake, yes? Is this first time through for you?
I'm serving, yes. I actually came to the salmon bake last year, so it was really fun.
I'm in the same boat as her, yeah. So
you came through, you ate it, and you're like, I'd really like to help out, right?
Something like that? Yeah. Yep.
yeah, pretty much, yeah, exactly.
It's always nice to give a helping hand, isn't it? So do you know anything about the salmon bake aside from it's delicious and awesome?
It's delicious and awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
It's a great way to get people involved from the community and just to all come together and see somebody else's culture. So.
Yeah, like she said, I think it's a good way to get the Native American presence on campus and show the campus what the Longhouse can do, and this is an awesome event.
I hear that this is to celebrate the groundbreaking of the new Native American Longhouse. Is that right?
Yep, they're actually remodeling it, and today at 10:30 was a groundbreaking. So yeah.
Yeah, she nailed it. She had nothing else to say.
Isn't that great? So thank you very much for your time. I hope you enjoy the rest of festivities. I'm hoping to swing in line here and get me some of this. It should be good stuff. The cobbler. I'll get the cobbler. Definitely. Got to come down for the cobbler. Aside from the bake of salmon, there's also a live storyteller out here as well to entertain folks after they get some food and to entertain them as they eat. On Friday, they say there's going to be a powwow where more Native American tribes from around the nation will be here to celebrate their culture together. I'm Christopher Sept for the Beaver News. Back to you at the studio.
Thank you, Chris. We're going to take one quick break. Coming up next, a breakthrough in the fight against malaria. Please stay tuned.
I'm Jeremy Call, and I made suction tires. I used a rivet gun to connect the suction cups, and then I just connected it to the tire.
Anything's possible. Keep thinking. Get started on your invention at inventnow.org.
When you open a book, you can explore new lands, make new friends, and discover new adventures. There are amazing possibilities when you open your mind to reading. Explore explore new worlds. Read.
Real men know that getting tested is the way to take care of their families. That's why real men wear gowns. For a list of the tests you need, go to ahrq.gov.
Welcome back to your Beaver News. Oregon State University researchers have engineered a new viable strain of antibiotic that is effective against malaria. Taifo Mahmood, associate professor and researcher in the College of Pharmacy, and molecular and cellular biology graduate student Wanli Liu have created a new analog of the anti-malarial drug pactamycin that lacks the toxicity of the original drug but can still be used to treat malaria. According to Mahmood, pactamycin occurs in soil bacteria. The compound was discovered in the 1960s and was not developed further because of the toxicity and the chemical complexity of the compound. Taifo Mahmood said, quote, "It's a strong antibiotic. It kills fungi, but at the same time it will also kill mammalian cells as well. It's very toxic," end quote. According to Liu, though this process required him to spend a lot more time working in the lab, results have made his efforts worthwhile. According to the Gates Foundation website, malaria kills almost 1 million people annually, most of which are children in the sub-Saharan Africa.
Currently taking place at Oregon State University is Pride Week. Pride Week is powered by the rainbow and welcomes all students of any sexual orientation to participate in their events. Pride Week will be in the MU Quad until Friday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Some of Pride Week's main events include a presentation by keynote speaker Dan Savage, Out on Greek Row with Dr. Will Keim, the Pride Center Slumber Party, multiple educational seminars, and a drag show in the MU Ballroom. For a full schedule of events and details, visit www.facebook.com/OSU Pride 2011.
Could you survive by living only off $1.50 per day? Well, starting May 16th, this struggle will become a reality for a small group of Oregon State University students. Although these students are participating in a nationwide challenge called Live Below the Line. According to the Daily Barometer, Live Below the Line is an event organized by the Global Poverty Project, an international movement to see the end of extreme poverty. The OSU team, which calls itself the Believers, will spend no more than $1.50 a day on food. David Fleming, a 19-year-old psychology major who belongs to the Believers team, said, quote, "Living below the line is more than just some diet. It's a way to learn empathy and gratitude."
In national news, Microsoft has agreed to buy internet phone service provider Skype for $8.5 billion in cash, the company announced Tuesday. Skype, currently owned by a group led by private equity firm Silver Lake, will become a new business unit within Microsoft, which will be run by Tony Bates, the company's current chief executive. Microsoft says it plans to incorporate Skype's real-time video and voice communications into its existing product lines, including Office, Windows Phone, and the Xbox gaming system. As the largest acquisition in history, the deal marks a significant change in strategy for Microsoft, which has not bought another company since 2006. Microsoft Chief Executive Steve Ballmer said, "Today is a big day for Microsoft and Skype, as well as businesses and consumers around the world. The goal," he said, "is to empower people around the world with technology that will bring them together." We're going to take another break. When we come back, your weather forecast, and a man gets a face transplant, so stay tuned.
I got no pulse, so losing him.
Sergeant, he's in VFib.
Shock him.
Drives it road all the time. Just had a few drinks. Just can't be happening.
Are we clear?
Clear.
You just buzzed.
Just buzzed. You didn't tell us that, sir. You're right, this isn't happening. You'll be fine.
I feel good.
Really?
No, not really.
Buzz driving.
Clear.
Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal.
Shock him.
Off what?
When I have an asthma attack, I feel like a fish with no water.
Learn how to prevent your child's next asthma attack. Because even one attack is one too many.
Horseradish. Is that for horses? Remember me, Mr. Lobster? From last Tuesday?
Banana. 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 Here comes the rain. We need a hat. And why do we need a hat?
They died.
That's right.
When you talk with your child, you build vocabulary, and learning starts long before school does. For more tips, go to bornlearning.org.
So you can't save money? It's easy as pie. Brown bagging lunch instead of going out. $6 save times 5 days a week times 10 years is $21,000. That's a lot of lettuce. Small changes today, big bucks tomorrow. Feedthepig.org.
Corvallis, and welcome to your Thursday night edition of the Beaver News.
Tell me a little bit about the history of music a la carte.
United States. We believe that giving potential customers
or cameras is nothing.
Welcome back to the news here on Channel 26.
Welcome back to the Beaver News, right here on Channel 26. The swollen Mississippi River rolled south Wednesday, swamping emptied out towns and businesses and threatening untold damage to areas still recovering from a series of natural disasters. The river crested Tuesday at Memphis, just short of a record set in 1937. The river in Memphis measured 47.8 feet Tuesday night, according to the National Weather Service. Flood stage in Memphis is 34 feet. Mississippi has already had to close some casinos in Tunica, which is a key economic driver in that part of the state, as floodwaters seeped in. About 600 people in the community of Tunica cut off and have been driven out of their homes, said Larry Liddell, a county spokesman. President Barack Obama signed disaster declarations for Tennessee, which will help direct federal aid towards recovery efforts in areas hit by severe storms, flooding, and tornadoes. Flooding also continues to be a problem in southeastern Missouri and southern Illinois, though Mississippi and Ohio rivers have already crested in those states.
Even with floodwaters on the rise, not all residents have been evacuated, like Danny Hayes. The 61-year-old retired construction supervisor lives in Bogota, Tennessee. Hayes' trailer is about 7 miles from the Mississippi River, where the river's invasion reached Hayes' door and at its height threatened to evict him. The Mississippi flooding has already forced hundreds to flee small towns like Bogota to cities like Memphis. Meteorologists say the heavy rainfall across the South could mean weeks more of high water. But whatever comes, Hayes says he will not move. Armed with his revolver in hand, he is refusing to evacuate. To get to dry ground, Hayes paddles a small boat about 50 yards and then walks half a mile to town each day to get a pack of cigarettes. The homes around Hayes' trailer are empty, but Hayes says they are safe as he makes his daily patrols around his island armed with his revolver. Hayes reportedly said, quote, "I am a crazy old man, and I will shoot the hell out of you, and I am serious about that."
Sounds like a crazy old man to me. Dallas Wiens underwent the first transplant in the U.S. 2 months ago after an electrical accident disfigured his face. Doctors say he will be able to sense touch soon. His injury happened in November 2008 when Wiens, now 26, was painting his church as a volunteer. His head got too close to a high-voltage power line, and he lost almost his entire face from the burns. For 90 days, doctor kept him in a medically induced coma while they performed surgeries and he breathed through a ventilator. Dr. Bowden Pomahawk, burn victim unit director at Birmingham Women's Hospital in Massachusetts, who had previously performed a partial face transplant, led the team of 30 doctors in a 15-hour procedure in mid-March. Doctors gave Wiens a new facial structure along with nerve and muscle tissue. Wiens said says his face feels, quote, feels natural, as though it has become his own.
Let's turn it over to Max Newfield for your weather broadcast. Over to you, Max.
Hey there, Beaver Nation. I'm Max Newfield, your Wednesday weatherman for today. And so we've got Thursday. It's going to be partly cloudy with a high of 63 and a low of 42. Friday, we've got more partly cloudy with a high of 66 and a low of 48. Saturday, it's going to be a little bit rainy with some showers of a high of 59 and a low of 47. Sunday, some more rain with a high of 58 and a low of 45. And Monday, more rain with a high of 60 and a low of 43. So
And then he said it after I was already talking.
be positive and stay classy, Corvallis. I'm Max Newfield, and back to you.
Thank you, Max. We're going to take one more short break. Up next, the U.S. gets to speak with Bin Laden's family, so please stay tuned.
3 out of 4 kids are not as secure as they should be because their car seats are not used correctly. But the latch system makes it easier to get it right and to hold your kids tight. Anchor, tether, latch. Learn more at safercar.gov.
The elevator and the blood bank. Both are ideas from the minds of African Americans. Support the United Negro College Fund, because a mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Everyone has friends. There's online friends, friends to go out with on a Saturday night, friends to hang out with and do nothing, friends who show up on moving day. And then there are the friends who'll be there if someone is dealing with a mental illness. Are you one of those friends?
Welcome back to the Wednesday night Beaver News. 7 people were killed early this morning when an earthquake struck southeastern Spain. The 5.3 magnitude quake occurred at 4:47 p.m. and was centered about 50 kilometers southwest of Murcia, near the Mediterranean coast. That is about 350 kilometers southeast of Madrid. It was preceded at 3:05 p.m. by a 4.5 magnitude temblor centered in the same area. At least one of the deaths occurred in a building that collapsed in the town of Lorca.
According to CNN, Libyan rebels have captured the airport in the besieged city of Misrata today. Shamsidian Abdullah of the Transitional National Council said the airport, located in the southern region of the war-torn city, fell to revolutionaries after opposition fighters nearby in Zlatan were able to join their counterparts in Misrata. A top UN official told the Security Council this week that 2 months of fighting and the ongoing shelling of Misrata port have prevented most aid ships from docking there, leaving the city at the forefront of the UN humanitarian concerns. A ship carrying supplies from the International Committee of the Red Cross docked in Misrata on Tuesday, but the ongoing fighting has deterred many captains from trying to enter the port. Valerie Amos, the UN Undersecretary General for Humanitarian Affairs, told the Security Council on Monday that almost 750,000 people have fled the country amid the fighting.
The United States was granted access to speak with 3 of Osama bin Laden's wives and his children, Pakistani Interior Minister Rehman Malik told CNN on Tuesday. All 3 wives were taken into Pakistani custody after the May 2nd U.S. raid. White House spokesman Jay Carney said the administration that is optimistic that the U.S.-Pakistani cooperation will continue with regards to the access to bin Laden's wives and also the materials that were collected by the Pakistanis under the U.S. commandos that left the compound. Carney described the U.S.-Pakistani relationship as important and complicated. During Malik's interview with CNN, he said that allowing U.S. access to the wives should make it clear to the U.S. that Pakistan has nothing to hide and was unaware of bin Laden's hiding place. U.S. President Barack Obama told CBS 60 Minutes, quote, "We think there had to be some sort of support network for bin Laden inside of Pakistan, but we don't know who or what support that network was."
The scheduled trial of 2 Americans accused of espionage in Iran was delayed again today after the suspects were not brought from prison to the courthouse, CNN reports. Josh Fatal and Shane Bauer were set to stand trial today. The two were charged with espionage after being arrested nearly 22 months ago while hiking along the unmarked border between Iran and Iraqi Kurdistan. The 2 Americans were expected to appear in Branch 15 of Tehran's Revolutionary Court Wednesday morning. Swiss diplomats that were monitoring the proceedings said there were not reasons given why they were not brought in. The defense attorney of 2 American hikers says he does not know the reason for the postponement. The families of Bauer and Fatal issued a statement saying they are deeply concerned for their well-being. That's all the news we have for you tonight. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night for another live broadcast of the Beaver News. Good night.